We're live. Hello, WordNerds. Oh, we lost Des. Welcome to our first ever WordNerds baking night. We're going to see how this goes. Usually every quarter we do a game night, and we all really like, well, we all like eating food, and so I thought it would be fun to do some baking. I tried to pick a recipe that could have some variations in how it looks, but that otherwise would be pretty simple, pretty foolproof. So yeah, tonight we are making mint brownies. I put a link down in the description box to a Google Doc that has the full recipe if you want that. I adapted it from someone else's recipe, so I put their name down at the bottom. Lest you think I was able to come up with this by myself. I haven't. This is just a recipe that I made a lot in college, and it had been a while, and it sounded like fun. So that's what we're doing tonight. Give us a shout if you are baking alongside us. A lot more of you than I thought would be baking alongside us. I'm so excited that some of you that are going to bake with us. Yes, I'm so excited. I am too much of a control freak, and I was really paranoid that I would have the timing off and hosting would be awkward or something. So I made mine ahead of time. So this is the finished result.
Oh, it's so cool.
Writing in chocolate or any sort of frosting is not my thing. So I was like, I'm going to go out of my comfort zone. But that's the ideal question mark finished product. Brownies with mint icing on the top. So yeah, the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure you are preheating your oven to 350.
I already did that.
Ahead of the
I wasn't
game.
sure how long we'd dawdle ahead of time. So.
And you'll want to also make sure that you have a stick of butter set aside for the frosting, softening if it's not already softened. So like if you have it in your fridge, make sure it's not in your fridge. Because otherwise you'll have to microwave it some later.
That's what I'm going to have to do because I have no butter right now.
Just have him put it like on the engine on the drive home.
Yes, that'd be perfect.
Turn the heat on.
Nothing will go wrong that way. Yeah. There's plenty of time for it to soften still. I had a slight disaster when I was making mine in that I put mine on the stovetop. So it's like, this will be great. It'll soften it. And then I forgot and came back to just butter stove.
I did that a while back.
So that was cool. Let's see. So the first thing you're going to do, just one other disclaimer. If you're making like the full size recipe, it makes a 9x13 pan, like a big rectangular one. I don't have that many people in my house. So I made an 8x8 and I halved the full recipe.
Excuse me, you think I can't eat all of that myself?
But yeah, so I put on the recipe like what the half of that is because some of them weren't super intuitive to have. I know I also mentioned when I posted all of the ingredients, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna have the icing because I'm afraid I won't have enough. You'll have enough. You can have it if you want. So yeah, I think we will dive right in. And then in the downtime, we're going to be talking books, food, whatever we want. It's game night. Anything goes, except for some things don't go. But yeah, so, sometimes we get those like bots in the comments. And it's like, you know what? No, not
anything goes until you lose the anything goes privilege.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. We're very excited. So the first thing you want to do is we're looking up at the brownies section of the ingredients. It calls for 2 sticks of butter if you're making the whole recipe, or 1 stick if you're making half. And you're going to want to melt that butter.
What is that?
Give me a stick in a different measurement, please.
Is this a stick?
Yeah. It's so a stick is 8 teaspoons, tablespoons?
Tablespoons.
8 tablespoons.
Okay, that looks like 8 tablespoons to me. We're gonna
I may
eyeball
have to
this.
catch up.
Oh, yeah.
My butter comes soon.
Wait, okay, so
you could like
if it's
sub
too
oil, like canola oil, couldn't you?
And it would change the texture of the brownie.
Yeah.
It'll be like once you mix the butter and cocoa together, like you can do all the other stuff on the side and then just add the butter and cocoa powder at the end instead of at the beginning, and you should be fine.
You're on top of my microwave, so just tell me if this is way too loud and I'll move you back.
Weirdly, your mic like tuned it out for me.
Oh, nice.
It was like, they don't need to hear this.
Well, you're perched on top of a bunch of books too, so. My old version of Frost is actually getting some good use.
I'm just sitting down while I do this because, yeah, like the height of my computer is not working.
Yeah, exactly.
I brought
I'm
my
sitting
full
down too.
computer setup out.
Oh, wow.
Like you're stationary? I should have done that. No, not even close.
Not my desk or anything.
Melt faster.
Missy Kate, I was also excited to see that Emma and I have the same mixer, so just so you know.
I'm getting cocoa powder all over myself right now.
In my head, Megan and Emma are like way higher level than I will ever aspire to be cookers and bakers. So having the same thing as Emma to me felt
I'm proud of you.
Oh, okay. Hopefully it's supposed to be really melted.
Yeah, that's fine. Unless you
Okay.
burnt it, then maybe start over.
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm just going through these comments.
Helen.
Helen. Okay, once your butter is melted, you're going to be mixing in half a cup of cocoa powder, or if you're having the recipe, a quarter cup of cocoa powder. Just
So I'm like
mix it
putting
right
this into my
the melted
big
butter.
mixing bowl, right? Or just big
Yeah, that's
mixing
fine.
bowl?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, how much
Half a cup
for the whole recipe?
for the full, yeah.
My butter has arrived.
Huzzah!
Yeah.
Butter has arrived.
My mixing cups frequently end up in Emmett's sand box, so thankfully the half cup is here.
You might have gritty brownies.
How much butter needs to soften? Did you say 10 tablespoons?
It's 1 stick
Right.
if you're making half, and 2 sticks if you're doing the full recipe.
I think she meant the one that has to soften for the frosting.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
I think it's like 5 tablespoons for that.
5 tablespoons if
Okay.
you're making full.
Cool. I'm making the full.
As you
because
should.
I don't have an 8x8. Also, I could take him to work with me tomorrow because lots of teachers will like bake stuff over the weekend and then like leave it in the teacher's lounge. So that's what I'm gonna do.
I was putting this in with the butter, right?
The cocoa
I
powder?
hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to have done it.
And then we're gonna take some time to let the butter cool down because there are eggs in the recipe and we don't want to cook the eggs.
It's the kind of things I would never think of.
I have some questions prepared too, some guided discussion. So just let me know when y'all are done with your cocoa powder.
I'm done.
I'm just gonna casually mix for a second.
I'm desperately trying to catch up.
You're good.
Oh, it
You're
smells
plenty of
good.
time.
This already looks amazing.
I know I'm
Butter
already.
and chocolate. What could go wrong?
I've eaten these lots of times, but I've never made them. So,
Oh, really?
yeah. never made
I
them.
thought you were gonna say you ate the butter and chocolate melted together before.
Lots of times.
Mm,
It's my favorite late night snack.
very good.
When Kyra and we met in college and started a writing group together. It was like we met in this publishing course, and several of us decided to start a writing group just to try it out. And one week, I had made these brownies, and I brought them to writing group. And my spouse had come to like meet me on campus, and we were going to leave together. And I think like only one person had eaten one, and he was like really worried. He's like, "Oh, you guys can eat them. You know, you can eat them if you want. You guys try a brownie?" Like, you know, being a really good host or whatever. Until Kyra felt guilted into eating one, even though she doesn't like mint. So that was the start of mine and Kyra's true friendship, was her eating one of my brownies, despite knowing she wouldn't like it.
True friendship.
Yeah.
Misty Kate, I would take that recipe, just FYI.
Yes.
I like trying other people's like favorite recipes.
That's actually my first question while we are just hanging, waiting for things to chill and stuff, is what is a food that just feels like your childhood? It can be like fancy or not fancy at all. What's a food that feels like your childhood?
My mom used to make these things called blonde brownies, and they were like I don't even know how to do, like a cakey flavored vanilla type of brownie with like chocolate chips pressed into the batter, and then you baked it, and it got all, oh my god, so good. Yeah. Memory. And fresh baked bread. Those are the two things.
My childhood was a lot less domestic. I started making fresh bread, but it was not something made for me as a child.
We were a bunch of weird homeschooled, deeply religious people, so it was like full Little House on the Prairies over there.
Helen says spaghetti with meatballs for a meal. For dessert,
Oh,
though, coffee
yeah.
cake with maple icing.
Oh, that sounds real good.
That does sound really good.
I am
I was
not
gonna
someone who ever. Go ahead. I was just gonna say I love coffee cake, even though I don't drink coffee. I am a huge fan of coffee cake.
I'm just sitting here.
I feel like
Like,
it's
did I
like-
have a childhood? I don't know.
I think sometimes it's like, and my mom was a good cook and she made like fresh bread and stuff, but like it's like the weird, really simple things that just like remind me of childhood, like cinnamon sugar toast.
That's what was
Yeah.
going to be my answer.
That was the first thing I thought of, and the second thing I thought of was like, as TikTok calls it, white people taco night. Like we had that all the time because like we didn't have a lot of money and like there were 3 kids, and so like you could feed us all on a bunch of food that way, and still like those crunchy taco shells, like delicious.
We did that a lot too.
Yeah.
See, not at all like a nice home cooked meal, but like ketchup and bologna sandwiches are probably what I ate the most of as a child.
Oh Lord.
I cannot even think about eating it.
Oh my god.
I'm not
Oh,
even
man.
thinking. I just ate so many as a kid that now it's just like, nope, I'm good.
I used to eat a lot of turkey and mustard sandwiches, and I have a very vivid memory of reading a Babysitter's Club book and getting mustard on the page because I was eating a turkey mustard sandwich and being like, did I just ruin this book?
We used to bake cinnamon buns a lot, and I have an intensely etched into my brain childhood memory of listening to a radio show on Saturday mornings and then eating a cinnamon bun in bed. Was not supposed to be eating in bed, so I'm all, the blankets are all sticky and stuff, but so good.
All right, once your butter is cooled off, you're gonna end up adding the honey, eggs, sugar, flour, baking powder, and salt. Basically everything else. It's a pretty thick mix, so I prefer mixing all the dry ingredients together before dumping them all in. But you won't mess it up if you just dump it all in the bowl.
Just so everyone knows, the cocoa powder and butter does not actually taste good.
Pro tip for all you aspiring bakers out there.
Are you okay reading out the measurements for the honey and stuff? I can't access.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay, thank you.
So, for the full recipe, it is 2 tablespoons of honey.
Cool.
In the comments, we've got people sharing their childhood memory meals, and Griswold's chicken noodle soup with egg noodles.
Oh, yum.
And he said grilled cheese, lifelong favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Helen said the coffee cake was my grandma's recipe, and it's to die for.
Okay, so honey.
And then 4 eggs. So have any of you watched Heartstopper yet?
I have 2 episodes left.
I watched all of it last night.
I literally watched all the
Wow.
episodes today.
I don't even think I've heard of this.
It's based on some graphic novels that I had not read, but
They were originally webcomics, apparently.
Yeah.
Webcomics and then graphic novels.
And they're still on Webtoon. But yeah, it's kind of just like a coming of age queer YA rom-com series. There's 8 episodes on Netflix, 30 minutes.
What's it called?
Heartstopper.
Oh,
It is really, really well done. Really cute. I didn't know anything about it, and then I saw everyone on Twitter freaking out, and I was like, well, I want to be included. So I watched it, and it was really good.
Yeah, I knew about the graphic novels. I haven't read them. I could picture the covers. When I saw it advertised on Netflix the other day, I was like, oh, I'm assuming this is based on the graphic novel. And then I saw everybody talking about it on Twitter afterwards.
It was so well done. I really liked the incorporation of imagery that I would assume is from the graphic novels into the show. And it had the most relatable scene I've ever seen in my life, which was one of them is questioning their sexuality, watches Pirates of the Caribbean, and then it jump cuts to them Googling bisexuality.
And it's before it's they're watching it with their mom, and the camera is zoomed in on Will's face and then on Keira Knightley's face, and it just goes back and forth between their faces really zoomed in.
Yeah, and that's wow, that was copy pasted from my childhood.
yeah.
I was literally watching Pirates of the Caribbean today, so I would like to point that out.
Living your best life, truly.
Obviously. I was a huge Pirates of the Caribbean stan growing up. I tricked my grandma into taking me to see the 3rd one. It was great.
Yeah, great movies.
once you're done adding all those things, if you haven't yet, make sure you spray your baking pan with something so that it doesn't stick.
Does anything else come after the eggs?
Yeah. 2 cups of white sugar. Oh, thank you, Misty Kate, for sending the cookie recipe. I appreciate it. I haven't planned my week very well because the actor who plays Roach on Our Flag Means Death posted this cake recipe, and I'm definitely gonna make that. So I already started cutting the oranges for it. So we're gonna have a lot of dessert here. So I'm gonna have to wait to make the cookies, but I'm very excited. Yes, Misty Kate said Our Flag Means Death is great. I have a lot of feelings about this show. Yeah, I was trying to think about, oh, well, they're going to be baking and I'm going to bake it ahead of time. So I should probably come up with some stuff to fill the space because I am afraid of silence. And so I was like, I could probably easily fill a live chat just solo talking about Our Flag Means Death.
Just hold us all hostage.
Like, now that you're here, let me pull up my PowerPoint.
Like, this is Our Flag Means Death chat, not the baking chat. What comes after the sugar?
After the sugar is 1 3/4 cup flour. I will get that recipe for you, Mitzi Kate.
I don't know if I've done a recipe where it's more sugar than flour.
Yeah, these are very sweet brownies.
So let's say theoretically that your 1/3 cup measuring cup is missing. How would you make that in smaller measurements?
That's a really good question, and I will give you the answer in just a moment after I do some quick Googling.
You eyeball it and just embrace the chaos.
But I can't eyeball a third using either 1 cup or a 1/2 cup.
Wait, what are you doing a third
So
of,
it's
Kelly?
1 1/3 cup of flour.
Yeah.
It's 1 3/4 cup of flour.
3/4. Yeah.
Whoops.
You don't need a third cup.
Oh.
you
have
will
any.
need one later for the powdered sugar.
I was like, because I definitely don't need a 6th cup of it.
I thought someone said 1/3. Okay.
So did I, and now have done that. So,
So, oh, good. How do we math that?
someone math for me. How do I fix this?
I'm sure Google has a
So
calculator
that's
for
going to
this.
be 0.75 minus 1 divided by 3, which is 0.41666666.
Jesus Christ. I will just embrace the chaos.
I got to pull this up in Desmos. Hang on. I did put the link in the description to the orange cake I'm going to be making later for anyone else who wants it. It's over on his Twitter account.
My husband is always trying to encourage me to clean as I go, so I'm trying so hard, but there's already flour and sugar everywhere.
That's
That was
fun.
it for me too.
Just chaos
I just
time.
put
It's
cocoa
fun.
powder everywhere. That's what I made it too.
Oops.
Okay, so after the flour,
Yes, Misty Kate, it's the orange cake, the 40 orange glaze. But it isn't actually 40 oranges because That's a lot of oranges.
The 40 orange glaze that didn't have enough orange flavor.
Yeah. I saw someone who like tweeted at him and was like not to agree with Reese, and then a bunch of eyeball emojis. And I was like, oh, did you just tell him that it doesn't taste like oranges? I'm not bad at math and I can't figure out the conversion. I don't have the concentration for it
I've
right
just
now.
embraced utter chaos and eyeballed it, and
I
good
love
luck to me, I guess.
it.
We'll see.
That was the point of all this, right?
To see how much chaos we create. I mean, I haven't set my kitchen on
100%.
fire as of yet. So
Yes. There's
we
still
are
time.
ahead of the game.
When the batter is done mixing, it's kind of like it's like smooth and thicker than a cake batter.
Mm.
Like you're gonna look at it and be like, wow, that's really thick. Did I do that right? And it's right.
Okay, after the flour, which I've just inhaled, what comes next?
After the flour is a tablespoon of baking powder.
That's a quarter tablespoon. You like cut out, and all I heard was a tablespoon. So,
Oh, thank you.
it's a quarter. Yeah,
It's a half.
or a half. You mean? Yeah. Sorry, mine's a quarter.
It's a half tablespoon of baking powder.
Half tablespoon of baking powder, yeah.
Because I heard a tablespoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Megan's mic like cut out for a second, and I was like, "This is gonna
Sorry.
Make for risky baking.
I actually did that on purpose. Just
Oh.
sow some more chaos.
If you guys haven't started mixing yet and you don't have a mixer, I do not recommend a whisk. Just so you guys are aware.
Good tip.
Oh.
Good tip.
Because
Yeah, I
I'm
did it.
currently mixing mine, and this is what my whisk looks like. So
Say it's really
Oh
thick.
no.
I did it with a spoon.
see,
Okay,
that
I'm
was
so
the
sorry.
part.
You said half a tablespoon, right?
Yeah.
Of baking powder. Okay, thank you. Just making sure. That looks like half a tablespoon. Okay.
This is amazing.
Lost my salt.
No. Is salt next? Oh yeah, how much salt is it? Or what comes
It
next?
is half a teaspoon of salt.
Yeah.
And then you just mix it all up.
I usually, whenever I say half a teaspoon of salt, I just do 2 pinches.
Yeah.
Because it's like the same.
Mhm.
Because no one has time to get out the half a teaspoon.
Just for salt.
And with something this sweet, it's like really hard to oversalt it.
I bet I could do it. Challenge accepted.
All right, and once that's all in, it's going to go into the baking dish.
I really need to invest in a stand mixer.
When does the corn whatever majugit stuff
That's in the
some-
icing.
Okay, that's what I thought. Which I could not find, so I had to get agave syrup instead. The internet said it's fine, so.
Perfect. I think it's really just to like give it that weirdly shiny consistency. So, but like honey would dye it a little or something.
And honey just has a very distinct flavor too. So.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is gonna be interesting.
Oh my gosh.
My brownies are in the oven.
What? You're so fast. I'm still mixing.
I'm mixing too.
Thank you.
This would be a lot better with like an actual mixer. This is very thick brownie batter.
It is so thick.
If it's too thick,
What?
too thick, Maybe add a little water or something.
Okay.
How thick is too thick?
Like if it's impossible to stir and it's like, I don't think this is gonna smooth out.
I'm sure it's wonderful. I believe in you.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's pretty thick.
This is, yeah. I think I've made a mistake.
Hey, just show
Okay.
it. Just hold it up to the camera.
Megan preemptively said you're gonna feel like you made a mistake, but it's great.
Ah, you're good. You're good, Jess.
Mine's good? Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're good.
This is very lumpy.
Yeah, mine was
She's
really lumpy
cleaning.
at first too. You gotta like really muscle it if you're stirring it by hand.
Okay. Well, I also did the ingredients separate, and I dumped the wet into the dry, and now there's so much dry.
I know, it's intimidating. It's very daunting.
I'm putting mine back in the mixer. It's lumpy.
Damn you. Oh yeah, this is not going to be a PG chat. I swear a lot. Well,
This may look wholesome on the outside.
That's like my brand, wholesome on the outside, absolute gremlin on the inside.
I'm now going
You
to
need
have
to start
to.
your own aesthetic. You need gremlin core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need it.
I'm now going to clean my mixing bowl so I can make the frosting in it later.
That's what I did. Would recommend.
Way to overachieve.
I think it's, oh my God, this is so thick.
The baking time is 20 to 25 minutes. Mine took an extra 5 this time. It'll kind of vary based on your oven.
I forgot
Yeah.
to ask, and I should have asked before we started. Were there any instructions in regards to like high altitude?
No.
Cool.
I think the person who made the recipe is from Utah, though. So
Okay.
it should auto account for it.
And it is thicker. Like when I make box mix, all it says is to add like an extra 2 tablespoons of flour and then add some extra cooking time. So
This
is why baking
thick.
is so
I can't imagine
intimidating.
You need more flour.
yeah, I don't think I do.
Yeah, with these though, it's like there's so much sugar and butter and everything that like it's not gonna taste bad unless something goes like really horribly wrong.
Like you forget them and leave them in the oven
Yeah.
and burn them.
Or you just like don't add the flour. And so it's just, have you seen people on TikTok do that where it's just like bubbling?
Oh my God.
You're doing great, Erin.
Yeah.
Silently stressing out over here. Starting to go together. We look like battery now. That's good.
Nicole said, baking night was such a good idea. This is so fun. I'm glad.
I've been bullying
agree.
Megan to try to get her to do this for so long.
I've been so worried about the logistics as if we don't stream every week and see roughly the same people every week. So like no one's going to be mean about it. But
Holy crap, I'm getting an arm workout here. Okay,
Yeah, it's intense.
think I'm ready.
yay, and Griswold's brownies are in the oven.
Woo. All right.
Let us know if you're doing Camp Nano. Let us know how close you are to your goal. I gave up.
I feel that, Megan. I was so pumped to do Camp Nano, and then I moved on the 2nd of April. So, like, I should have known that just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. I'm at 12,000 of my 20,000 goal, and like we had a death in the family last week. I had COVID the week before that, but I've come this far, and I need to win camp at some point, and I don't want to have to start over again in July. So
I believe in you.
I totally believe in you. You got this.
When I was making, I knew I wanted to put some sort of chocolate decoration on my brownies tonight. And so I got it in my head that I was going to pipe out some cute little shapes, despite having no artistic skills at all. I was like, I'm going to pipe out these shapes onto some parchment paper and then refrigerate it, and it's going to be great. And then you can like see the parchment paper on my stove back here. I piped them out. They looked fine. And then I, for some reason, thought it would be a good idea to place this just wafer thin piece of chocolate into my palm to bring it over to the brownie. And so I just ended up with chocolate coated hands. It was a disaster. I gave up immediately and decided to draw directly onto the brownies instead. I would love to get better at chocolate decorations at some point.
Speaking of baking and decorations, has anyone else watched Is It Cake on Netflix?
No.
It's amazing.
It's so dumb. I love it so much.
I love it so much. It's one of my favorite baking competitions.
I just, every time it comes on at the end, I just yell, "Is it cake?" It's the whole show. And I always get it wrong. I can never guess the cake.
All right, my brownies are in the oven.
Huzzah!
How
Yeah,
long?
I'm last.
25?
Check it first at 20. It's technically 20 to 25, but mine took 30.
I set my timer for 18 because my oven like
Echo.
overcooks a lot of things.
set an 18-minute timer.
Yeah. I have like a gas oven and it's very old and it has a tendency to overcook things. So.
This is really random, but do any of you guys want a really cute, fun video game that's kind of dumb? But I love it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's called Good Pizza, Great Pizza. It's just a
Oh my
pizza
God.
simulator game, but there's like
I love
actually
pizza.
lore. But it's like really good. It's really fun. It's addicting. You play it on Switch for like $8, but you can play it on like mobile for free. There's just ads.
Okay.
How long are we putting that in for? 18 minutes, Emma said.
If your
It's
oven
20 to
cooks fast,
25.
Just 18 to 25? Okay.
it's on Steam.
Okay.
Also okay.
To wash some of these measuring cups because I only have like one of each thing.
Okay.
And I'm gonna need some for the frosting.
I have another question for you all. Are there any books that stand out to you in their descriptions of food? I feel like the classic one is Red Wall.
Yeah, now I see like big food descriptions as a sign of like overwriting of. Oh,
Actually, Harry Potter always made me hungry. The book.
Mhm.
The feast.
Yeah, I think there's like a balance between like overwriting it to the point where it's like, yeah, like you're talking too much about food and it's bogging down the story.
so my brain
And,
went to like Game of
and just
Thrones.
as-
Like I don't need to know
yeah,
what you're eating.
and just enough that I'm like, ooh, that makes me hungry. I want to eat a dumpling too.
For me, Roshni Chakshi, unbelievable descriptions of food. Just wild. She'll describe like some grapes as tasting like moonlight, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome.
I need some of those.
I want some moon grapes,
Amazing.
please.
Delicious.
And she'll do it even just on her Instagram. I'm like, this is just how you think about food. What? Oh, Missy Kate just triggered a memory. Said, I'm sure there are books, but I can't think of any. Definitely movies. Like, it's complicated. Do y'all have movies that are just like, there's a food that's seared in your mind from a movie that's like, I want to eat that food?
Just any Studio Ghibli movie, the food always looks
I was
so
just
good in those.
thinking about the bacon and eggs from Howl's Moving Castle.
Yes.
I was literally just talking to my mom about this the other day because I was making bacon and eggs. And we were just staring at the bacon cooking in the pan, like transfixed. It was amazing. There was an anime that was like all about food, and I never watched it, but I saw like clips of it.
Mm.
Can't remember. I think it was called like Food Wars or something like that.
I don't know why, but teen me always was like, preteen teen me saw that scene in The Devil Wears Prada where she's sitting in the hospital bed eating pudding, and I was like, I want to eat that pudding. Which is like, I've never had a pudding that was outstanding, but in my mind, that hospital
Especially
pudding
a
was
hospital
so
pudding.
good. And Griswold asked, how important is the frosting to the enjoyment of these brownies? It's not a must, but it is like all the mint is in the frosting. You could just make it without the corn syrup or like add a little bit of honey, especially if you're dyeing it green. I don't think it will ruin it if you don't put any corn syrup in at all or anything to replace it.
It's a really small amount of corn syrup, and normally like a buttercream frosting wouldn't have it. So
Yeah.
I would probably add a little more milk to compensate for just like the liquid.
Yeah. Emmy said, I'm curious, I haven't seen too many frosted brownies before in Canada. Are they more of an American thing, or have I just been living under a rock? They look delicious.
We sell Thrifty Foods as frosted brownies all the time. But it is chocolate frosting. This is a bit different.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had a lot of brownies with frosting.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's like, it's not like more, I'd say that frosted brownies are probably less common than unfrosted brownies in the US. Like usually they have that like crackly top.
Mhm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I've seen ones with chocolate frosting. I'm not a huge fan of brownies with chocolate frosting. I think that's like
too much.
It's too much
Yeah.
chocolate, yeah.
Yeah.
They need to eat a cake instead, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Publix has brownies with a cream cheese frosting that are quite good.
Oh, yeah.
I like
That's
those.
good.
Mm-hmm.
I like brownies with powdered sugar on them.
That sounds delicious.
Ooh, yes.
I like brownies.
Did anyone put the nuts in, by the way?
Mm-mm.
No?
I
Okay.
don't think nuts have any place in these brownies, but I wasn't gonna.
I know. I was gonna judge if someone put nuts in the brownies.
Yeah.
It's like straight to hell with you. Get purgatory, straight to hell.
Yeah, before we went live, I said like I am not opposed to nuts and brownies. Like sometimes I'm in the mood for that, but I think it's weird with the mint frosting. I'm like, that's too many things. Got to pick one or the other.
I don't think
One or the other.
I don't
think.
think nuts do not improve anything.
You're with Megan.
Agreed.
Okay, I will say this. One cake that is made very often in my family is just like a yellow box cake with chocolate frosting and walnuts. And it is great. It is iconic. Like we eat it at every celebration. So like that has a special place in my heart. But
I'd eat that. I like turtle brownies. I like caramel and nuts.
Yeah, I do.
And
like
I
those.
like in my mind, pumpkin bread like has to have nuts in it. So good.
No.
Mm-mm.
I need to feel like I'm eating baby food by the third bite.
Yeah, I like some texture. That's why I can't eat creamy peanut butter. I need the crunch.
Oh no!
I hate crunchy peanut butter.
I hate
Yeah.
creamy peanut butter.
I get so angry if I accidentally buy the nut peanut butter. Like,
The opposite.
It makes my mouth hurt.
no. Okay.
Kayla asked walnuts on it or walnuts in the batter. You can do if you like. Oh, walnuts in the cake. That's what you're asking. Do you put the walnuts in the cake or on the cake?
It's like on the cake, on the frosting. So it's like regular, like Betty Crocker yellow cake mix, chocolate frosting, and then like walnuts all over it.
Ooh, that does sound good.
I don't know what it is about that combination, but like apparently my grandma has been making it since like my mom was a kid. Like,
it's just raw. It's just raw walnuts. It isn't like roasted or candied or anything.
They're just like the baking walnuts at like the grocery store. Like the half ones are the best ones.
I could do candied pecans or something on top. Like that would be good. But inside, nah.
I like carrot cake. That has nuts inside of it.
Yes.
Is that to say that I think it's funny that like Megan is like anti-nuts in a lot of these things, but like her favorite pie is pecan pie?
Well, because it's not that I don't like nuts. It's just that I don't think they should be in brownies. And I don't think they should be in pumpkin. I would eat it in pumpkin bread. It wouldn't be a deal breaker for me, but I would look at a brownie with nuts in it and be like, I'm good. Unless it was turtle. Turtle gets a pass.
Turtle's delicious.
Okay, I can see Kelly doing things over there. What am I supposed to be doing?
All right, we can get started on the frosting if y'all want.
Just measuring butter.
Okay. I'm behind again.
No,
I've been trying to clean my kitchen.
Okay.
You could check on like how soft your butter is. Is it soft enough that you could like squish it in your hands easily?
No.
Almost.
So again, no wrong way to do it really. You could like chop it up a little and then stick it in your microwave for like 10 seconds at a time until it's the right consistency.
Are we doing a whole stick again or?
5 tablespoons.
5 tablespoons.
Or 10 if you're doing the whole, right?
10.
No.
It says 10 tablespoons unsalted butter.
Are you on the website? Or
Yeah.
because the website is very different from my personal recipe.
Ah. Well, I've already measured out 10, so
You're gonna have lots of frosting.
Just
Feels like 10 is a whole stick.
you want 5 though, Erin. You want 5.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I'm paying the price for trying to get ahead.
Yeah, so I found the website that I originally started making this recipe from, and I do it pretty differently from like directly the way the website says to do it. As far as like ingredients go, all the mechanics are still the same because it's brownies with icing on top. But so yeah, the proportions for the frosting are different because the original recipe creator splits the frosting in half and then puts chocolate on top of it.
Wait, are we not doing that?
Not
So
like
this
that,
person
no.
does like they make double the frosting
2
and
layers.
they make half of the frosting mint and half of the frosting chocolate and do mint frosting and chocolate frosting. And we're not doing the chocolate frosting part unless you just like really want to.
Unless you want to. 'Cause you can if you want to. No rules.
I think I'm going to just because I'm not doing the mint. So
I saw in the comments that Kayla was like, I need to bowl you for your pumpkin brownie recipe. It's literally like chocolate cake mix and a can of pumpkin puree. But there's no recipe.
I was going to say, that reminds me, if like there's anybody out there that can't eat sugar, pumpkin, like a can of pumpkin puree and a box of like yellow sugar-free Pillsbury cake mix, they make a sugar-free, is really, really good. And there's no sugar in it. So you can enjoy it if you like have to watch your sugar intake.
I haven't
Apparently
tried it in
some
cake, but I've put the can of pumpkin in brownies before. I think because Erin was talking about it, I hate it. And I like pumpkin rock, but I'm not a fan.
Apparently, like my other friend also does a can of Coke or something, like a certain amount of Coke with the brownie mix or cake mix.
I think I feel like I met some people when I lived in Utah briefly who did that. Put the Coke in.
I've seen like it's like the soda or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Lots of complicated feelings about having lived in Utah, but the food, great.
Especially the desserts, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Taking out half my butter.
It's called BYU brownies.
Megan has adapted this recipe.
Yeah.
Megan's brownies now.
Megan's brownies.
And so I will remove half my butter. In solidarity.
Again, I have just eyeballed this and leave it up to the gods of baking to see what happens. What comes after the butter?
After the butter, you've got 2 1/3 cups powdered sugar.
No, oh my god. I forgot that icing sugar goes everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
I got this like huge bag of it because I'm going to be making the cake later. I set it face down on the table and the logo copied onto my table. And it's just on my table now. I hope it comes off.
Oh wow, okay.
Oh my god.
I have icing sugared my table. My whole kitchen.
I cut into this icing sugar and just now realized it has a Ziploc thing.
Okay.
This has been a disastrous day all around.
The hardest thing for brownies for me is like making sure they're cooked enough,
Yeah.
but not overcooked.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that goes in? Is it milk goes in this, right?
You need a tablespoon of your syrup that you got.
Oh, right. Okay. 1 tablespoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then 2 tablespoons of milk.
Tablespoon.
And a dash of salt.
Ooh, well, that was more than 2 tablespoons.
Was 1 of the syrup, 2 of milk, right?
Yeah. And you'll add more milk later, most likely. So, like, if you over pour the milk,
She was
fine.
just out, Dad. Not had the milk.
Oh. This is very thick icing. Okay, so more milk if it's too thick, you said?
Yeah. Yeah. You can just add milk until it's the texture you want it to be, pretty much.
Sweet.
Bagged milk.
It is the most environmentally friendly of milks.
I wonder if that's more of an Alberta / wherever you are thing.
I think
don't
so.
really have it here.
How much powdered sugar was it again?
It is 2 1/3 cup.
2 1/3.
For milk. I'm using oat milk, which I hope is okay.
Yeah, it's icing. It's probably fine.
Yeah. It'll just taste like sugar, I figure.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then once that's the consistency you want, you're going to add your mint extract. And that's going to be 1/2 teaspoon.
Look at my little mint. Isn't it cute?
Cute!
half a teaspoon.
All right,
And-
after the powdered sugar, what was it?
After the powdered sugar, it's 1 tablespoon of corn syrup.
And half a teaspoon of mint.
Yeah, and then you can taste it, and if it's not minty enough, you can add more. I thought it
Echo.
needed more. So.
Echo. Stop. How do I know when they're
Are they
done?
saying we're echoing?
I just put a toothpick in mine, and if it came out with not too much on it, I figured it was done. It should be a little domed on the top, like it shouldn't be sunken.
Do you mix the frosting after the sugar, butter, and corn syrup?
You can add the milk first, actually, 2
Oh,
tablespoons.
milk. That's what it was. 2 tablespoons. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and then probably more,
Cool.
and a dash of salt if you haven't already.
Ooh, that's good.
And Erin, once you've got your mint in, you can add the food coloring if you want. Originally, I thought it needed like 2 drops, but mine needed 4-ish, so to get this super light green.
Okay.
So just as many drops as it takes to be the color you want it to be.
Oh, Jesus. I just put the top in there. Let's see what I little plastique in there.
Adds texture.
The surprise. Ooh, looks like mold.
Cute.
That needs a minute. My brownies need a couple more minutes. Don't let me forget. I don't have a timer.
Okay.
No, I definitely don't want this color. Let's go darker.
And Des, you can add as much milk as you want until it's the texture that you like.
Cool.
I went just a touch thinner than like a cake icing or a cake frosting.
Oh, so what I was trying to figure out is if I want to split it and do half chocolate, how much does that need?
I figure out what looks like mint to me. Like this, very light green.
Yeah. The light hit it and it looked yellow. I was like, wow.
More green it is. We'll just get all that dye in there.
Yeah.
You could also
what
add a
I-
little bit of blue if you have some blue. That might
I
help.
do
I
not.
don't think it's actually yellow. I think it was just the light hitting it.
I'm looking for a forest green, actually. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's not it.
I actually think I'm gonna keep my frosting thick. I kind of like it.
Nice.
It reminds me of like toaster strudel frosting.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, mine's like that consistency too, I think.
How many drops of the mint extract did you say?
Half a teaspoon.
Half a teaspoon.
Darker.
And then you can taste it, and if it's not minty enough, you can add more. The brownies are so chocolatey that like you would have to add a lot of mint for it to be too minty.
Just put.
I think my oven's the opposite of Emma's in that it like is going to undercook.
I know I've tested mine
My
twice
last
now,
oven
and
was
they're
like
just like,
that.
nope.
Mine took like a full 30 minutes to cook.
Yeah,
So.
I think so. Because yeah, this middle is still solid like chocolate soup right now. I don't think I'm gonna get that mint color I want. See, look at this. It's
Huh.
plain.
Yeah, you should add like 1 drop of blue to it if you have blue.
I don't. I do not bake, so I'm just gonna keep adding more.
Minty.
See what it
Let us
does to my
know
brain.
in the discussion section if you're baking along. How is it going for you? I think we're all kind of in the zone right now.
I'm not in the zone. I'm in that fight or flight, fear of failure.
And Roswell says, they only red food coloring.
So deceitful mint flavored icing it is. I love it.
Just confuse the crap out of people when you give them the brownies.
And Kelly's going for a vanilla on top because Kelly doesn't like mint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
I bet that would be good.
If mint isn't your thing, you can use other extracts too. Raspberry, orange.
The mint
All
tastes
right.
really good. I've never had mint in extract before, but now I'm glad I do because I feel like a couple drops in like tea would be really good.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Yeah, mint
probably
extract
make some
doesn't
fruit
taste.
slime with tea.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, Meg said, I'm also making a vanilla frosting.
Looks like slime, but it tastes good. So
Just make it look like ultra like slime so then no one else will touch them and then they're all yours.
oh, I like how you think.
I don't know. She looks at the toddler. Is probably like, I've always wanted to eat the slime.
Slime brownies.
That's true.
Well, my food coloring apparently is extremely pigmented because I only put like 2 drops in, and
Oh,
it's like
dang.
electric green.
Mine's like minty.
Yeah, mine was like white after 2 drops.
Well, I'll just call them ectoplasm brownies.
Yes.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm curious,
Those
are you guys
things.
using like a liquid or a gel food coloring? Because I'm wondering how
Oh,
that might
yeah.
affect it.
Because that would make a difference.
Oh, mine
Mine's
is
a
gel.
gel.
That's why.
No, mine's gel too. Yeah.
Mine is liquid.
Okay.
This
Maybe
is
I
really
should
fun.
start with, like a very little amount because I wanted it
Yeah,
pale green.
gel
but
spreads easily.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I'm kinda
have gel, but I was too afraid of using it because every time I've used it, the colors have come out so saturated.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see how that happens.
Because I used like 3, and mine's like a nice light minty green with the gel.
My gel ones, they don't have a dropper. And so I just have to like scoop it out with a toothpick.
Oh, you have
and
the
hope
jar
for the
thing.
best. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a tube I can squeeze. Yeah, I know my mom has the jar ones, and they stress me out.
It's like I mostly just use them for cakes, and so it's fine. But like I made a rainbow cake once, and the purple one was so saturated that like it turned my teeth purple. That was a problem.
Amazing.
Andrew said, I'm not baking along, and this has really solidified that I will watch you all do almost anything at this point. That's the goal with our content. We just keep getting weirder just to see how many people will stick with us.
It's more and more
I feel like
random.
I'm just gonna end up with like soupy brownies because mine are still like super runny in the middle.
Okay, yeah, mine are
Yeah.
a
We
bit
got
like
time.
that too.
Oh my gosh, mine are too. And mine have been in there
I'm
for
just-
25 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
leaving
turned
them
my
in
oven off so it wouldn't like burn the edges just because mine gets so hot. So it's just like keeping it warm with the door shut. But yeah,
Oh, so you've got the crispy on the outside and soup on the inside style.
yeah. Yeah.
Delicious. Oh
And he
man,
said, so
I got.
at the end. And
Alright,
he said, so at the end of this, is Megan going to judge these, pull a Paul Hollywood, and give out some handshakes in public shame? Absolutely. Yes.
Everybody has to mail a brownie to Megan.
Just get like a 3-week-old brownie from
Say, yes,
Canada.
I have an advantage in this because mine will get to her faster.
I just discovered I got agave syrup all down my pants. So
Oh,
right
no.
now.
I definitely got some mint extract on my hands, so now
Yeah.
I smell
Just
mint.
huffing your finger. My yoga pants are very sticky.
Oh no.
Whoops.
mean, since we're all here in baking, I'm just gonna start dinner like on our live stream. 'Cause why
I mean,
not?
you might as well.
I
Is your
mean,
dinner
I'm
not
already
just
here.
brownies? My dinner.
Oh, and Griswold's brownies are done.
Only if I would like to get
Yay.
violent.
My
What did you say?
dinner
Woo!
is popcorn and brownies, like a responsible adult tonight. So it's gonna be good.
Did anybody get ice cream to go with their brownies? Because I did.
No, I should have done that.
Ooh, that would have been smart.
Oh, I'm really mad at myself now.
I
Ugh.
I
wasn't
thought some
thinking
today, but I
ahead.
went with rainbow sherbet, which is like, no.
When I had to send Jonah out to
Oh.
get my emergency butter, he got the ice cream.
Yes.
I got a clean toothpick.
Huzzah!
Mine is so still soup.
I'm trying to remember the
I-
order we went in. 'Cause Emma was definitely first.
Yeah.
I put mine in first, but mine are still soup.
I
So
think I
you'll
did
want
put mine
to
in
let
down.
those cool in whatever manner is the best for you to get them cool. So
What manners are there? Like,
Blow on it.
put it in the fridge, the freezer. You can put it on your
Risk
stove.
shattering your pan.
You can put it on your stove, but I wouldn't recommend it if your oven is under your stove because that'll keep it warm. Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, you can put it in your fridge, but give it just a little bit of time to cool down before you do that.
Directly into the fridge.
I use the
Basically-
rice pan with everything, so I don't know why it's still soup in the middle.
Okay,
Sometimes ovens are just different.
I'm just gonna have
Different
to
ovens.
yeah,
Sorry,
if
different
Emma's is
amounts of
doing it
time.
too, you know you've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a problem I
And that
often
is
have
the
with
litmus
brownies.
test.
I have trouble getting homemade brownies. Like box brownies, I don't have as much of an issue with. The homemade brownies, I have trouble getting them to not be soupy in the middle. I don't know why. I don't know what I do wrong.
Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like, I could understand if I
My
was getting
edges
a
are
way
cooked.
too big pan or something. Did you take yours out, Emma?
Yeah, I just took them out.
Yeah. Are they super liquid in the middle?
But they're like cooked on the edges.
Yeah. Mine is full liquid more in the middle.
You know what? We can eat our brownies with a spoon. There's nothing wrong with it.
I
When
think we're all about to experience my thunderstorm, so I think it's very loud.
Ooh.
That is why.
Oh my god.
when Emma and I were roommates in university, we would have roommate meetings just around a soupy pan of brownies, and just everyone would have a spoon, and then we would discuss who wasn't doing their dishes enough.
At least you had roommate meetings and weren't just like passive aggressively angry at each other all the
I
time.
mean, there was that too, but
That's how it was for me and my first roommates ever.
let's be honest. The meetings were pretty passive aggressive.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was like, we're gonna be forthright with our feelings. Psych. We're gonna eat brownies and no one's gonna actually say what the problems are.
We're going to talk about the problems, but not say who it is we have a problem with. So that you just have to wonder.
So everyone has to wonder if
Yes.
it's them.
And if you know it's you, you can just steep in your own guilt.
Yeah.
You know you're the one who keeps leaving the dirty crock pot on the counter.
Yeah. And Griswold said, "What decorations are you measuring with your hearts tonight?" I love that, by the way. I laughed so hard when I read it. So I went with, I put some semi-sweet baking chocolate into a piping bag. I melted it very slowly in the microwave, like 10 seconds at a time. Stir it up in between until it was fully melted. And then I put it into a piping bag and piped baking night onto it after my first decoration attempt failed. But yeah,
I'm
you
going
could,
to sprinkle some chocolate chips on top of mine. That's what
yeah, you could like shave it, like grate it with a cheese grater, some chocolate
I was
shavings
gonna
on.
try to do like a a green chocolate marble and then do like the shavings on top. But that might be a little ambitious.
I'm just gonna be happy if mine bake through. That's all I want.
Kelly has sprinkles.
Yes.
They are unicorn themed
Delicious.
sprinkles.
Ooh.
I'm jealous.
So I was going to show them for the final reveal, but I'll tell you now. So I made my icing pink.
Ooh.
And then, so I have my hearts and rainbows and sprinkles. They're girl brownies.
Yeah. You could also do, like, if you wanted to just drizzle chocolate on top, that would be good. You could do that, like, you know how on the bake-off sometimes they'll do, like, straight lines of chocolate across something, and then they'll drag a toothpick through it, and then it looks feathered and fancy.
That's what I was kind of thinking.
I just remembered that I have little like sunflower decorating candies.
Yes.
I might put those on there because it's perfect on green.
you
It's like
love
grass.
Ooh.
Meg's brownies are in the cooling phase. Yay. And Griswold is using Easter egg shaped white chocolate chips. Nice.
Ooh. Everyone's getting so fancy with their decorations.
I'm just sitting here eating my icing. So.
So I've got another question. What is your ultimate comfort food?
Mac and cheese. Homemade
I was
mac
going
and
to say
cheese.
mac and cheese.
Des and I are like on the same wavelength when it comes to that, apparently.
Like the good deep dish mac and cheese with like a couple different types of cheese.
Mhm.
Yeah. I like Patty LaBelle's recipe. Personally.
Ooh.
I like the Kitchenista recipe. That one's really good.
I got one off of TikTok that I really like. I just saved it and tried it at Thanksgiving, and it was so good.
I use one that YA author Angie Thomas recommended, and it's never done me wrong. So
I think mine is depression nachos, which is just chips with cheese on it. I drizzle some buffalo sauce on the top. If I'm sad, that'll cheer me up.
I think I just do that with chocolate in general.
Sorry, I think I cut out. Am I like super laggy?
Just a little.
Say I also really like shepherd's pie, but like if I'm wanting it as a comfort meal, then like I want someone else to make it because it's just like a lot of work.
That's how I feel about
do
stew.
love it.
Like for like, I don't know, the tortilla soup I learned from Emma is a very popular one in our house.
Yes. I do love that one. If I'm like sad and I have the time, I like making croissants. If it's like I'm sad and I need to take my mind off of something, that takes a really long time, and they taste so good.
If I don't want to put a lot of time in cinnamon rolls that just like come out of a tube.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh. I just got a recipe for homemade cinnamon rolls, and I really want to make them from scratch, but like not until I have a stand mixer.
Andrew Walker said, baked mac and cheese is definitely top tier comfort food. And Griswold said, I like cereal, no cooking required. And I also love a homemade chicken pot pie. Ooh. Oh, broccoli cheese soup.
Yeah.
Really just soup.
Yeah.
Someone's timer's going off. Am I supposed to be doing something? My brownies went in the freezer. How long do they cool for?
Just until they're cool to the touch. Basically, you just don't want to put the icing on while it's hot, or it'll just all melt off the sides.
This is fair.
What if that's how I want to decorate it?
I think it would go
Then
very
go.
well with Erin's slime brownies.
Yes.
Was
Just
it my
the full
slime?
soup experience.
All right, let's see. Okay. Less soupy. Oh,
Yeah.
not gonna put it straight into the fridge. I'm gonna give it a second. Dare I try to put a?
Yeah, don't put it straight into the fridge.
I think
Especially
this
if you're baking it in glass.
Yeah, and if
Huh?
yours was like borderline not soupy, if you just let it sit in the pan, like there's a decent chance it'll firm up. If you just let it cool at a normal pace.
I put like a knife thingy in there, and nothing like it stuck to it. So we'll
That
see.
seems promising.
It does seem.
I just pulled mine out too. They're done.
Ooh,
Yeah.
excellent.
I'm like, every time someone is like, I'm at the same level as you, I'm like, thank God. I'm so glad you guys also just pulled out the brownies. Wait, unless they were in the fridge.
I think it was from the oven.
No, mine are done from the oven.
Okay, I'm good then. I have a fear of being left behind, apparently. I'm just realizing this.
And Griswold asked, have any of you ever made macarons? That's what I want a stand mixer to make. Yes.
Sounds
I haven't
complicated.
yet, but I have a bag of almond flour. It's just like waiting for me to be brave enough and have the energy one weekend to do it.
I've made them a few times. What I really like making them, and they aren't terrible to make. A couple things I've noticed in the US, at least, the almond flour is not as thin as you might want it to be. So like sift it through a fine sifter when you're measuring. And also, if you can, they make silicone mats like with circles on them. And I don't plan on making them again until I have one of those.
Yeah.
Smart.
Because it was a pain in the butt trying to like draw out perfectly even circles on the opposite side of parchment paper because I wanted them all to be the same size.
What are the potential consequences if you put your brownies into the fridge too hot?
The ice could shatter, or the glass could shatter.
Okay,
If you're in a glass pan, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm considering it.
it's fine.
Yeah, especially if you're going fridge instead of freezer.
All right. Fingers right. Fingers crossed.
That was my guess, but I did have the same question because everyone else was like, "Oh, this is such an obvious baking thing that people know." I'm like, "Okay, I'll just chuckle along and do what they tell me to do."
It might be fine, but I'm not going to say it's fine on a live and then have someone do it.
My dumbass
Literally
just was like,
just
let's see
had-
if it's still hot, and touch the pan. It is still hot. Ow.
I just had some like mason jars that weren't even hot shatter in the freezer last weekend, so I'm like, I'm not risking it. I'm not putting glass in the fridge or the freezer.
My pan is thick enough that I feel like it wouldn't like fling shrapnel. It would just crack.
Just
So I'm
crack.
just gonna risk it. Yeah, I'm gonna risk it. Okay.
And then once it's all cool to the touch, all you have to do is spread the icing on, decorate it any way you want to, and it's done.
Woo.
Okay, look at this. I have one. I got one of these like a million years ago because it's so cool.
Yes.
But I don't bake, so it just sits there empty. But hey, put bananas in it or something. I don't know.
Buy a store-bought cake and put it in there.
Yeah.
Sure, I could do that.
Icing looks so good. This is torture.
You're not just eating it. I'm just eating it. very satisfyingly drizzly.
I just realized Ingrid said macaroons, not macarons. I haven't made those either.
Oh, my bad.
I struggle with
I
the
haven't made
difference,
those.
I haven't made either.
I don't even think I've eaten either.
I have eaten both.
I've had a macaron once. It was pistachio flavored. It was delicious.
Whenever we can actually finally all see each other again, I have like all these things that I want to bake.
Yeah, and then
yeah.
this time, when we see each other, I can make actual proper popcorn for you guys on the stovetop without having to slap fight Erica over it. Who knows nothing about popcorn, by the way. Yes, I still have feelings.
I'd forgotten about, we just passed our 5-year deadline since I've seen many faces. So
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Never seen
stupid,
Desi's
and I
face.
hate food.
I still only have confirmation that Emma has legs, so.
I mean, I can
I'm
see
gonna
them right
see
now.
you next month.
That's true. I can confirm that Megan has legs next month. I mean, even if I see your legs on video, like they could be fake.
Right?
And would you love us
Who?
less
Which
if they
one
were
of
fake
you?
legs?
No, I would not love you any less. But I just want confirmation for my own sake.
I can't remember which one of you stuck your leg up in the air, because we were talking about this, and
That
somebody,
sounds like me.
it does sound like you. I was impressed with the flexibleness, so it's like, I can't do that. You will never know if I have legs until you meet me in person. I cannot put my leg up there.
I've gotten very confused on which one's which, but N. Griswold meant the one you thought.
Oh,
okay, so
macarons. The little like French sandwichy ones.
What are the other ones?
It's like coconut
Macaroons?
and chocolate. And it's- yeah.
What's the two names of them?
Macaroon and macaron.
Well, that's ridiculous. Okay.
But in the US, a lot of people will say macaroons for macaron also. So it's like it kind of means both, no matter how you pronounce it.
I'm sure a chef would argue with me about that, but it's the same if you ask me.
Well, I'm a linguist, so I can argue right on back.
But remember, you have Saruman and Sauron. Why would you do that?
You had the choice. You didn't have to do that.
No one will ever understand.
Yeah, I've made a few different macarons, and the first time I made them was, I think, my favorite flavors. I made like an Earl Grey one, with like a vanilla on the inside, and we made raspberry and chocolate ones with them. The second time I used one from the Paul Hollywood cookbook. It was not. The filling wasn't good. The macaron wasn't good. So I have some beef with Mr. Hollywood now.
Way to go, Paul.
And I know it wasn't me because I've made them before.
I wonder how many people return cookbooks to the bookstore and are like, all of these recipes were terrible.
So surely they weren't all terrible.
Maybe you're a bad cook.
If they're all terrible, then maybe it's you. I made some of the bread from his cookbook and it was good, which was to be expected.
Never had anyone return cookbooks at the bookstore, but I did have people return books saying they didn't like the ending. Seems weird.
Like, you didn't have to tell me you read it. You could have just returned it.
Yeah, exactly. It was a bad plot twist. I'd like my money back. Okay. Leave a review like a normal person. Okay, top of the brownie basically needs to be cool to the touch, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have another question for you all. I'm curious if you have any tips for incorporating food into your world building. Because I think when we first got started on YouTube, the thing to do was like apocalyptic YA, whether it was fantasy or dystopia. And so it was like your main character is eating hard bread and cheese. Like I fell into that trope a lot back then. But food is like so important to world building.
Mm-hmm. I really like to, more than the food itself, I like to concentrate on like cultural norms, like while you're eating at a meal, like what's considered super rude, what's considered polite, you know, how's the table set, you know, for fancy rich people versus not rich people. I don't know, like stuff like that rather than specifically the food, but yeah. That's an interesting question.
I know I've mentioned her once already, but highly recommend reading Roshni Chakshi's books. If you want like pretty descriptions of food. And I feel like the food in her books is always like, oh, it's beautiful, it's there, it's telling me a lot about the world, but it's not distracting from the plot at hand. She's just an incredible writer all around.
Yeah, I like definitely have good memories of reading stuff like Redwall and like loving all the descriptions of like the feasts and stuff, and you know, looking up the recipes for, I can't even remember, meadowberry ale or something, and like trying to make it with Sprite and fruit juice, you know.
Nicole said, in my mind, an OG food as world building is Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
And that reminded me of a food like core memory that I wanted to eat that thing, which was the crunchy cup that he eats in Willy Wonka. I wanted to eat that cup.
Actually, Willy Wonka made a big impression on me. Like, obviously the candy, but for some reason, the golden ticket scene with the candy bars was like really.
Oh yeah, I wanted to eat that candy bar too.
Yeah, I was like, that chocolate looks good. Just give me the chocolate.
I really wanted the cup. I wanted that cup.
All of my cutlery should be edible.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing here, y'all?
Yeah. And the like chocolate river, was it chocolate in Willy Wonka?
Yep.
It was like that also burned into my brain, but in like a simultaneously like that looks delicious, but also like somebody sort of drowned in that, like
your horror,
sort of horrifying as well.
Poor Augustus Gloop.
Oh God! Everyone got such a rotten deal in that candy factory.
I think I forgot my brownies for just an extra minute. I think it was 1 minute too long. The edges are just a little dry.
Mine are too. I think I like over freaked out on the oh no it's brownie pudding thing and took it out too late, because yeah, you're right, it like firmed up in the middle and now the edges are very crispy, so whoops.
And Griselda asked, what are some
Mine are the
possible
exact same
consequences? Really?
What'd you say?
Said mine are the exact
I said my brownies are the same way.
Oh, okay. At least I'm not alone.
And Griswold asks, what are some possible consequences of icing hot brownies? Really, the only consequence is just that the icing will melt. It will probably still taste equally as good. Once you've got your like icing and any decorations you want on it, if you just pop them in the freezer for a couple minutes, that'll like really firm up the icing into like a really good consistency. You don't have to do it. It's not the end of the world, but if you want it to look extra like set, you can do that.
Ooh. Okay, how do you pronounce what Emmy said? Ciabatta? Ciabatta?
Yeah.
How do you say that?
Ciabatta.
Ciabatta. That bread is so good. I used to buy it at Thrifty.
I've never made Paul's recipe. I need to try it. It's been a while since I made bread.
I actually did make ciabatta bread one time. And I was able to put it by my fireplace, my gas fireplace, and let it rise. And it came out really good. Came out really good, surprisingly.
Making bread is my current favorite. For just like plain bread, it is so easy and so worth it.
I really like, you can plait bread, like braid it, and it is like, if you watch a video on it, it's really easy to do, and it makes it look so fancy. You feel like you're better than everyone else, but like it really wasn't that much more work. I love doing that.
For the most part, I didn't trust myself to bake anything, so bread seems like a lot.
Emma's like, because of the sunflower, it looks like a grassy field with flowers. It's so
Yeah. And I was like, wait, I have these. It'll be so cute.
All right, I'm just going to take this sucker out and try to ice it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Living on the wild side over here. Oh, yeah, that's crispy. Dang it, I overcooked it. That makes me so mad because I kept it in extra thinking it was soupy. Oh, well.
The middle will still be like totally fine.
Yeah, probably most of it will be fine except the edges. Gonna ice that and cover it all up. You just like smear that sucker on, or do you drizzle, or just whatever?
Yeah, I just spooned it on. Since it's pretty thin, it's really easy to just spoon it on and then spread it out.
This is such an unsettling shade of green. Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to Snapchat us a picture of that shade of green. Because I feel like I can't conceptualize it well enough.
Baron's face while looking at it tells me a lot.
I don't know if you can see the green from...
It really does look like Nickelodeon slime.
Right? Yes. Or the Flubber, that movie.
Oh
my God.
I haven't thought about Flubber in ages.
Well, you're welcome. Oh, you don't say well. Oh.
I'm cleaning as I go. Matt will be so proud.
Straight up just slime brownies. It kind of solidifies a bit, right?
Yeah, if you pop it in the freezer for
Okay.
2 to 5 minutes, it'll firm up
I'm
quite
trying
nicely.
the layered pink with the chocolate, so I'm currently
Ooh, nice.
trying to be patient. Wait for the chocolate.
I have a mint plant. I should have put some real mint on it.
Ooh.
What was I thinking?
That would have been so fancy.
It's a chocolate mint plant, so it like has the faintest of chocolate undertones. Although I'm not sure that this decoration screams fancy enough for mint leaves.
Oh, icing is delicious.
Right?
My brownies are still quite warm, so like my like frosting has like melted a tiny bit. So
Yeah, same. We're just gonna put that in the freezer.
yeah, put them back in the freezer for a little bit.
Andrew said
I'm
I've
worried
not
my
thought about flubber in at
container
least
will
a decade.
shatter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the true test if it's gonna shatter in the freezer. Alright. Uh-oh. Oh no! That's close.
And then I think traditionally, if it's not firm, you could just like refrigerate it until it is. But I don't live my life like that, and I wouldn't expect anyone else to.
Okay. Alright. Oh, interesting. The stuff in the bowl is already hardened up.
I know my frosting.
Icing is so good.
All right, I did not wait long enough, so now it's going to be swirls instead of layers.
I love it. That's
Swirl is
fancy.
good. I might have sprinkles. Ooh, I have purple and blue sprinkles. Neither of which go with the slime color.
If you go purple, it can look like the Riddler.
Riddler brownies. So maybe I'll put it on now.
Purple, right? That's what I'm thinking of.
Embrace full chaos and just make it look horrible. I'm gonna do it.
Mine sunk a bit at the side, so I'm getting like pockets of icing. I wish Emmett was awake. He would so love getting to lick the spoon right now.
Right? His loss is your gain, though. Need to like stretch. Too old to be sitting in a chair like this for this long.
Ancient woman.
Yes. I'm 30 now.
My God.
Bones, they are not what they used to be.
You shut it. This actually looks so much better. It's sparkly now.
Yay!
Oh, that's good.
Definitely look like a Valentine themed treat, but I'm okay with that.
I don't know what mine looks like, but it kind of looks really good. We'll see.
Y'all reading anything good these days?
I tried to get through and couldn't, but I'm sure that a lot of people do like this. I tried to get through The Only Good Indians. Halfway through it, and because I loved the way it started out, because it's a horror book, and it was horrifying, and I really liked that. And now, halfway through, there was so much basketball that I finally just put it down. So much basketball.
I love that book. There is a surprising amount of basketball.
There is.
Book. I hadn't thought about it until now. Maybe because I like basketball.
Started going. His other book, though, I loved. The Final Girls one, not Brady Hendrix. Final Girls. What's the other one? Oh, My Heart is a Chainsaw.
Yeah.
That one I just like read in a day. But yeah, this one.
Yeah. He has another. Stephen Graham Jones has another Final Girls one as well.
Oh, really? Maybe it's Final Girls stuff. I should look that up.
It's not, because My Heart is a Chainsaw also has Final Girls themes.
Yeah,
he wrote The Last Final Girl, and that one was fun as well.
I'll have to that one, because I loved Heart of the Chainsaw. Read it in like 2 days.
And Griswold said, I really enjoyed The Only Good Indians, but my sister also DNF'd it.
Yeah, I tried so hard. I'm like, I want to like this. I liked the last one, but and then because I skipped ahead and read Goodreads reviews, and like I'm gonna spoil it, so like plug your ears for 5 seconds. But apparently the showdown was like more basketball, or I don't know if they were joking.
Horror, but like definitely a horror.
But
I don't distinctly
remember.
I don't distinctly remember there being that much basketball.
The dear girl plays basketball in the end, and I was like, I can't. I'm sorry. No more.
I think Megan and Aaron have very different bars for how much is too much basketball.
Yeah. I do watch basketball in my personal life, so that might be affecting me.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Did you see, Ann Griswold, that there's going to be a Clown in a Cornfield 2? I did not realize there's going to be a second one, but it looks like it's going to be great. I'm hyped.
More people saying they haven't. Andrew Walker said, I haven't thought about Flubber in at least a decade. Well, you're welcome. So many good memories. Wasn't there Flubber and then a remake of Flubber? I'm pretty sure.
I'm sure there was.
I think there was a remake.
They've remade everything that didn't need a remake by now.
No, I don't know. This one had Eddie Murphy in it. Apparently there was a lot of Flubber in my childhood. I definitely watched both versions.
And Griswold said, no, what? Yeah. Let me double check. I follow that author, so I want to just double check that I'm not lying. I'm pretty sure I'm not. I always get paranoid when I say something on the internet. Like someone will show up in the comments months later when it's like way too far gone for me to retract my statement.
Anyone that's still here has had watched us
too.
bake for 2 hours, so I think they'll forgive you.
Yeah. Yeah. Clown in a Cornfield 2, Friendo Lives.
What? His name is Friendo?
Yes.
Is that the clown?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm going to put a link in the private chats. The cover is incredible. Like, I love it.
I might read
It
it.
looks
just
like a
for
book I
the-
would have been obsessed with as a teenager. Like it's just enough like old school Goosebumpsy, but adult vibes.
I was never allowed to read Goosebumps, and it still makes me mad that they had to mix all that as a kid. And then I graduated straight to Stephen King at like the age of 13 and was not allowed to read that either, but I just hid it. So should have just let me read Goosebumps, Mom.
Thank you for coming, Misty Kate.
Yes, thank you for coming. This will be merging two things you have no experience with, but did y'all see that the basketball player, Kawhi Leonard, he released a line of Goosebumps shoes?
No.
Yeah, they look like the old like orange and green Goosebumps shoes, and like R.L. Stine was posting pictures of him with these like really cool basketball shoes. It's like, wow, this is the first time I've ever wanted a pair of like cool made by an NBA star shoes. You've gotten to me.
R.L. Stine is so precious. I love him.
Yeah. I did enjoy the first book, and Griswold. I read it per your recommendation, and I thought it was a very fun slasher book. I don't read a ton of slashers, but that one was fun.
I want to know how to write a slasher.
Yeah.
I don't really know how you would do that plot-wise.
I feel like you
Was
just
that
get to
all-
lean into absurdity more, which would be fun.
I'm already doing kind of like a monster in the house one right now, and I'm like, how do I not just escalate this all really quickly and then everyone's dead immediately? Like, just figure out how to draw this out.
Interpersonal conflict.
Yeah, I guess basically. But I'm
There's
like,
a
why
monster
don't
in the
you
house, and everyone's distracted by their own problems.
Well, that's a good idea. It just feels like the first time someone shows up dead via ghost murder, you'd all be like, peace out, I'm gone.
But by then it's too late.
Yeah.
It was too late. Or in the case of Friendo the clown, it was like, it's the town that he's terrorizing. So like, you don't know where he's going to be next. And you can't just move. Not easily.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right, I want to see Aaron's brownies.
Yes, show us the slime. Show us the slime.
It's still very goopy, but I will show you this one. I'm gonna have to tilt you guys, because if I tilt this, it will just go slip out of the pan.
That would be such a wonderful end to this chat.
Wow.
They look fun.
Is it not the brightest thing you've ever seen? Is it not doing this right? What's happening? There. I'm just gonna assume you've seen it.
Those are awesome. I love them.
Very green.
We had a question for Kelly from N. Griswold. What type of books do you like? I don't think I've ever recommended a book to you.
Oh, I like a lot of things. I read pretty across the board. Always looking for haunted houses in terms of horror. Any sci-fi fantasy. I'm pretty open. I like reading books that I know other people have loved. So
You do read horror, just like horror, but not watch it, right, Kelly?
Yep.
Like you read it, but don't watch it. Mm-hmm.
yeah, it doesn't scare me in books, and then I just like the tone and.
Mm-hmm. But not super gory stuff, right? You think you said?
It doesn't bother me.
Doesn't matter in books? Okay. Because one of us doesn't read horror books, but I can't remember who it is now.
Kyra.
Yeah,
Okay, Kyra.
doesn't
Yeah.
read like any horror.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Okay.
I just don't like jump scares, and books can't do that. So.
Yeah.
Very true.
I think Rachel reads a lot of like dark other genres, but I don't think she reads very much just like straight horror.
Yeah.
Either. She'll read like fantasy horror and stuff.
I don't read a ton of horror, but for the same reason that Kelly would rather read it than watch it, I would rather watch it than read it because I don't find the book scary most of the time. Occasionally, an author will do something that I'm like, oh yeah, that really creeps me out. But
It's hard to do a scary book.
Yeah, it's really hard.
hard to actually make me feel scared.
I'd like to find a scary book that I like that afraid feeling, just not the oh my god, something's jumped out at me feeling.
I like in horror audiobooks, it's a lot easier to get freaked out because your eyes can't track ahead when it's horror. Like the White Smoke audiobook, like I had a jump scare moment when the preacher started talking on the TV because the voice got really loud and like abruptly shifted.
Yeah, that was a really well made audiobook. Yeah.
The voice in Plain Bad Heroines when it was the maid talking to the school owner in the bathtub, and the sped up version of this creepy voice, like it combined really, it actually ended up being pretty creepy.
That's awesome. I need to listen to that one. Actually. I read it.
I read it too. I do like horror books. Like when I read them, they can still creep me out. Like I'm never like terrified, but I'm like, they'll be like, "Oh, that's spooky, cool." Right? Like,
yeah, for me, it's more about like, oh, that's a creative take on like a theme that is scary.
I like the tension and the dread of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like somebody who can really like play out like good tension, and like someone's gonna die or something soon. That's what I liked about My Heart is a Chainsaw, is I feel like he did that really well. There's like this sense of dread building.
And I like that in a well done horror, you don't know if the monster's gonna win or not, because like the monster could win in a horror.
Yeah, very true. Yeah. Sort of unlike any other genre where like for the most part you're gonna get a happy ending, but maybe not in horror. And I do like it when they actually sometimes do. Well, particularly horror movies annoy me because like for the most part yes, thank you. For the most part that they're not gonna win, right? Okay, Google, stop. Got it. So annoying. Also, my child just got home, so it's probably gonna be a lot of noise in a minute. But
well,
we have been going for a couple hours. Yeah. Does everyone want to do a last show off? You didn't show off your brownies, right, Kelly or Emma?
I want to see both of yours. Oh.
I love the
three very different themes. We have like Springfield, Valentine's Day, and slime.
I love them. I would give everyone handshakes. We lost Des to laggy internet, but I already know I would give Des a handshake too.
Everyone's look great.
Yes. If you baked along and you want to show us your brownies, you can find us on Twitter or on Instagram. We are at WordNerds Vlog. Or you could email us, I guess. We're wordnerdsvlog@gmail.com. I cannot remember the last time I checked that email. I will check it. My deepest apologies if you have emailed us anytime recently. I did not see it. But yeah. So if you want to show us, we'd love to see how your brownies turned out. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. This was really fun. Please like and subscribe. If you're here, you're probably subscribed. Why did I? And if you're here this long and you're not, like me asking you to subscribe is not going to change anything.
Yeah, there's not going to be any more of this content, so this is what has won you over. Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. We don't have a chat picked for next week, I believe. So we will let you all know in the future what next week's chat is going to be. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, and we will see you all later. Bye.